We're here today to show you how to get your amaryllis to rebloom. If you got one of the Cottage Farm amaryllises, the red lion with the beautiful big red flower that's covered in wax, the first step is going to be to take off the wax. Now, Quinny helped me with that before. So there are a couple of ways that we found you can do this. One is you can cut it off. You can use pruning shears or scissors, but we found it's a lot of fun to take a hammer and gently, so you don't ruin the bulb, hit the wax with the hammer. Yeah. So as you're hitting the wax, it is cracking. And so what you're going to do, I think that's good, honey.
Okay.
So then what you're going to do is you're going to peel the wax back. And what you'll notice as you're peeling the wax back on your bulb is that what the trick with these bulbs is that you didn't need to water them. And one of the things that was done was that a white balloon was put inside, around the inside of the bulb. And you can see it here. And that helped keep the moisture inside the bulb. And so after you're done hitting your wax and peeling it off, you simply just peel the wax off one by one. You'll want to take that balloon off, and you'll end up with a bulb that looks a little bit like this. And so your bulb, you can peel back this brown layer of remaining amaryllis if you'd like. But what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to prune your stem back. And so I like to prune it back just above the neck here and get off any of that excess brown part. One of the things that I want to make sure with my other bulbs is you want to get off some of the excess neck. And as you see here, I'm not going to want to undo this one just quite yet because we have a new bud starting to come up. So what I am going to do though is take off this spent flower. And how I like to do that is just take your snips or pruning shears and snip it right off, and you can get rid of that. And then your amaryllis will still look as beautiful as it was. You can keep it on your dinner table or keep it anywhere you like. So once you've got the wax peeled back from your amaryllis bulb, you're going to want to pot it up in soil. And so, Quinny, can you take a handful of soil? What I've done is I've just done an all-purpose potting soil here. I like to use Espoma's potting soil, and I wet it before I put it in. Okay, so we put a little bit in the bottom, then we stick our bulb in, and why don't you put a little bit more soil around the side? Thanks, sweet pie. Oops, that's fine. Gardening is messy, isn't it? And so we take our soil and we pat it down. And you want to make sure to get a container with drainage holes because this is the container that your amaryllis is going to stay in all winter long. And so we also got a little bit of potting soil with fertilizer in it, and the fertilizer lasts for 6 months, and that will get us all the way through till summer. And then we can give it a little drink of water if you'd like to, Quinn. And while you're doing that, I'll prune some of these other flowers off just to make sure that our amaryllis, that's good, honey. That's a big drink of water. And what the next step is you are just going to treat your amaryllis like a regular houseplant. You'll keep it in a sunny spot in your house, and it will start to grow these big, beautiful green leaves. Just like the flower bulbs that you plant outside, those green leaves are what gives the bulb its energy. So as you start to see those leaves start to grow, that's a good sign that your amaryllis is healthy. So then come springtime, after your last frost in your area, you take your amaryllis and you put it outside. That's what I do with a lot of my houseplants. I move them from inside, I put them around my deck in dappled sunlight, but you want to make sure it's after the last frost in your area. Here for us, that can be as late as Mother's Day in May. So after you're done with that, you just let it outside and you keep it outside. If you have a regular watering schedule with your houseplants, go ahead and water your amaryllis when you're watering your houseplants. And then here's the trick, because if you want to get your amaryllis to rebloom, you're going to need to trick it into what, Quinny? Falling asleep. Which is called dormancy. And so what you want to do is, for me here, I bring it inside in about September. And so because Amaryllis needs 6 to 8 weeks of that dormancy period in order to bloom. And then they take another 4 to 6 weeks to bloom. So if you want your Amaryllis blooming in December, then you want to back that time frame out as to when you want to put your Amaryllis to sleep. If you want them blooming in January, which is really fun, I particularly love to have Amaryllis blooming in January because you've put your Christmas decorations away, it's kind of dark, it's kind of dreary, but you have this red burst of color sitting there in your living room. So I love that. But you back it out to the date that you want them blooming. So when that is, for me, I like to do it in September. Take your Amaryllis and you want to put it in a cool, dark place. That happens to be a basement for us. It stays at about 50 degrees. So we pull it in, keep it in the same pot, and you put it in your basement. If you still have green leaves on it, keep those on. Those will send more energy to the bulb. If you have some browning or anything that looks like it's dead, go ahead and prune that off at the time. And I would also suggest you take a feel around the neck of your bulb at that time. If it feels really soft and not hard, you might want to pull it out and check to make sure it's not rotted. If your bulb has rotted, it's going to be a wash and you're not going to be able to grow that one. But if it hasn't and it's nice hard at the neck, stick it in the basement for 6 to 8 weeks. And then when you pull it back out, that's when the magic begins. But don't water it until you start to see some fresh green leaves start to pop out. And that's when you start your regular watering and fertilizer scheduling, just like you do with a normal houseplant. And in that 4 to 6 week magical time, you will get another beautiful Amaryllis. Thanks so much for watching and good luck with making your Amaryllis rebloom.